Good morning, students, and we're back. It's math time, and we are going to be working again on finding the easiest common denominator and the lowest common denominator, our ECD and our LCD. Now here's a little quick reflection on Tuesday. All right, here's our answers, which most of you did a great job with. Remember, when we're finding the easiest common denominator, what we're doing is we're multiplying the two denominators by each other. It's called the easiest common denominator because we don't really have to think about what to multiply by. We're just going to multiply them by each other because we know that will always work. Okay? So it's nice and simple. The downside of it is it results in quite large fractions sometimes. So it's easy to do, but it's not always our best result. Now the lowest common denominator, we make a multiples chart here until we have a number that's the same on both sides, and then that tells us what our denominator should be. So then we can multiply to get it. In this case, we get to save a step because we only have to multiply one side. And it's great because we end up with a nice, low, small fraction. So it's already almost fully reduced. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a little bit more practice. All right, so you can refer back to this first slide to remember the steps you need to do in order. And you're going to fill out these problems, okay? So in the first fraction, we'll be showing what you're going to be multiplying by, and the last one we show the result. And then at the end of each question, we're going to write in our denominator. Here for questions 1 and 3, it's the ECD. That's just your bottom number, right? Your denominator. You're going to write it in here. For the LCD, of course, you can write it in here. Now you're going to make charts here for finding the lowest common denominator, a multiples chart. But remember, you don't need to fill it all in. You only need to fill it in until you've got a number that's the same on both sides. Then you can stop, because then you know that's what your lowest common denominator is. And I recommend you maybe do them one at a time on each side, because that will let you know when there's one that's the same. If you fill out one side all the way and then you fill out the other side, you might notice, oh, wait a minute, two of them were equal earlier on. I didn't need to fill all those in. All right, so give it a shot. Show us you know how to follow these steps and find the ECD and the LCD. And then we've just got some deeper thinking questions for you. Now I want you to think a little bit about why it might be more useful to find the LCD. So, let's think in the case, imagine you were going to have pizza with your friends, and you ask them, how much of a pizza can you eat? You know, because you got to figure out how much you need to order. Maybe one person says, I can eat, 4/10 of a pizza. And the other one says, I can eat 5/12 of a pizza. Now, I know people don't normally respond in fractions like that. But if they're used to having maybe a pizza that's cut into 12 slices and they have 5 slices, that would be 5/12. If they're used to having a pizza that's cut in 10 slices and they have 4 slices, that's 4/10. Now, if you multiplied those two fractions together using the easiest common denominator method, you're going to get 10 times 12, which is 120. Do you want to cut that pizza into 120 pieces? No, that would be ridiculous. You'd have these tiny little, floppy little pencil-shaped pizzas. So instead, in that case, it's better to find the lowest common denominator, which will end up with a much lower number. In that case, it would be 60, which is a little bit too large still, but better than 120. And in many cases, it would end up much smaller than that. So, all right, you're going to be challenged to think of an example yourself where you think it could be more useful to find the LCD instead of the ECD. Okay? So, good luck, happy math work, and we'll see you soon. Bye.